at the bottom there. It's hard to see on there. Let's see here. Okay, looks like you just have Zoom, and then you have your browser open, so it looks like you're okay.
Can anybody out there hear me? In Zoom land?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right back.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
How are you?
कोई बात नहीं.
Bhante, you have to say, हम ठीक है.
ठीक है. Yeah.
Because if you say कोई बात नहीं, it means it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you for that correction.
You see, it's
Hindi getting a little rusty.
right.
Or my Marathi.
You say हम ठीक हैं.
I'm TK. Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm fine, right.
Bhante, I looked at the Panchasila YouTube and listened to one of them. I think even my recordings, I know the recordings we did, some of the Q&A parts are not very clear because the questions are not audible very well. I don't know what really happened.
Yeah, I was only listening. I listened to that first one that was about the empty house.
Mhm.
That seemed to be all right, the audio.
The Q&A is one's the problem.
Yeah, that had been a problem even then.
Even some of the retreats you have there, when you go on live, the questions from the floor are not audible.
That's because we're not having a mic to pass around, so that
Yes.
I should repeat. Sometimes I try to repeat the question so that people will understand what the question was. Sometimes I don't. So I'll try to be more mindful about it. That's why it's better for people to write in the question on a chat, and then I can read it. Okay, friends, it's time to start now. So we'll start with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Okay, friends, welcome to this evening's Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. I hope you're all able to read the Sutta that I sent out on the attachment on Monday. So this Sutta tonight is called the Mahacattari Sutta, or translated as the Great 40. Now, the meaning of the term Great 40 is not immediately apparent, but as we go on in the sutta, hopefully we'll mention that if we get through the sutta. But it's appropriate sutta because it's starts also importance on stressing the right view and understanding the right view versus the wrong view, and as well as the other steps of the Eightfold Path. So in the last couple of weeks, we were talking about the right view. Last week, we covered the Samaditthi Sutta on right view. So this gives a little bit a different light on the function of the right view. Before last week was sort of the meaning of the right view. Now it's the function of the right view is important, and why the right view comes first in the the first step of the Eightfold Path. So this discourse was given by the Buddha in Savatthi or Shravasti, and he had a big group of monks there that he was sitting with, and so he starts talking to them. Said, "Monks, I will teach you the noble right concentration with its supports and requisite conditions." Now, what, monks, is the noble right concentration with its supports and requisite conditions? Any one-pointedness of mind, that means concentration, equipped with these 7 factors: right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, and right mindfulness. This is called noble right concentration with its supports and requisite conditions. So now I think all of you are at least familiar with the Noble Eightfold Path. And right concentration is that 8th step of the Noble Eightfold Path. And normally the Eightfold Path is expounded in that way, in that sequential order, because of the importance of those mental factors. in leading to be able to develop right concentration. So everybody these days in meditation circles, oh, concentration, concentration. Yes, I want to develop concentration. Yeah, but the Buddha explains in this sutta that it's not just concentration, it's right concentration. And this is an important thing to understand, the difference between just ordinary concentration and right concentration. So the Buddha is talking about in the Noble Eightfold Path, right, every step of the Eightfold Path is prefixed by the word samma, which means right or harmonious or wholesome, like the view also, right view or harmonious view. And so, these precondition the ones that follow it. So right, to attain the right concentration, the Buddha is saying here that you need to have first, right, that concentration is supported by right view, right intention, and all of the rest of the path factors. And then he says, but right view is the forerunner. Right view comes first. And then he defines what is right view. Or he says, what is right view and what is wrong view? So right view understands wrong view as being wrong view. And the person understands right view as being right view. This is one's right view. So understanding what is wrong view and what is right view, this is right view. And then he defines what is the wrong view. And I'm not going to read them all because I think, I want you to read these as well. But basically, these are standard descriptions of what, according to the Dhamma, is wrong view. Basically, it means not believing in karma. That's the main thing that's behind all of those. So, there's no point in giving things, practicing giving. There's no reward in giving anything. There's no fruit of good actions. There's no purpose in doing good or bad actions because there's no result of our actions. There's belief that it all happens by chance or, it all happens by God's view and you can't do anything about it. But basically it's, not believing in the law of karma, that our actions have results. They're not believing that there is no this world or next world. So not believing in rebirth also. And, not thinking that there's any holy persons, there's no purpose of practicing a holy life. There's no persons who've developed their minds, superior persons or nothing like enlightenment. They don't believe in anything like enlightenment. Or practicing, good, practicing rightly. So basically it means just people that believe and eat, drink and be merry and, live life for yourself and don't worry about too much. So why is that considered a wrong view? Because if you believe like that, there will be no incentive to restrain oneself, like to stop from killing cockroaches and animals or even people, getting in fights, telling the truth, basically no incentive for following the 5 precepts. But nevertheless, if one doesn't follow the 5 precepts, one is still going to incur, the painful consequences of at least, some of them. But they'll say, well, there was nothing I could do about it. So, that's just, and they just accept that painful consequences of their actions and doesn't think that there's any purpose in trying to change it. But the person is still going to suffer from it. So anyway, again, you have to understand that the Buddhist teaching revolves around the Four Noble Truths. That means suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Now, people who are not interested in that don't come to the Buddha. You don't need to follow Buddhism. But this is for people that are interested in, bringing suffering to an end and developing their minds. So that's important to understand. That's why he expounded the teachings in this way. It's solely for the purpose of understanding the nature of suffering and then removing the causes of suffering. And the causes of suffering, the main cause is wrong view, and then the negative actions, like breaking the precepts and living an undisciplined, uncontrolled life, hurting others. That is the whole purpose of practicing the Dhamma. So it's based on that right view. The definition I just gave was of the wrong view. Now he says, what is right view? And now he says there's two aspects of right view, whereas there was just one aspect of wrong view, which is, believing about the no need to believe in karma or do try to restrain yourself and do good because they don't believe there's any consequences of it. So right view has two levels, what is called the mundane right view and the supramundane right view. So the right view sides with some defilements, sides with gaining merit, by practicing generosity. You expect to get some benefit from that. Like some people, they practice sila and dana, hoping to get a rebirth in a heaven world in the future, or just getting good benefits from that even in this lifetime. So there is some attachment to that. But at least the attachment to doing those things helps you to do them. So at least it's going to, by doing them, you reduce the intensity of the painful consequences that could come to you. So it has to be understood in that way. Again, about wanting to eliminate, weaken the factors of suffering and to create more happiness and well-being in your mind and life. So basically it means there is those things that the person of wrong view wasn't believing in. So there is the benefits of practicing generosity, Dhamma. There are people who have developed their minds. There is the benefits of practicing the precepts, and there is, the next world, or when you die, the mind will be reborn and so on. So that's the right view, but it's the mundane right view that at least causes you to live a skillful life, to give up the negative actions and to at least do this kind of mundane things. But then he says, what is the noble right view? The second level of right view is the noble right view, which is without defilements, which is transcendent, a factor of the path. And that's why right view actually is considered to be the supramundane right view. So in this definition, the right view, to really call it right view, it means the view of a sotapanna, having experienced that direct understanding of the Four Noble Truths, and especially about anatta, no self. and gone beyond doubts. So that's called the transcendent or supramundane right view. And then, so now having defined the right view and the wrong view, he goes on to the second. So the right view is the first step of the Eightfold Path. The second step of the Eightfold Path is right intention, or samma sankappa. Sometimes it's called right resolve. Resolving to do something. That means basically it means orienting your mind toward doing, developing the mind. Well, actually, coming even before that. So right view comes first in developing right view and overcoming wrong view. And then one makes an effort for the abandoning of wrong view and for entering into right view. So right effort is the second of these pillars. Now, this sutra is focused around, apart from what I mentioned at the beginning about right view, it's also focused on the three most important factors of the Eightfold Path: right view, right effort, and right mindfulness, and how each of those helps to develop all of the other factors of the Eightfold Path. Now, I know this may, seem a little bit intellectual or so on, but that's why, you have to study these things a little bit, over and over to, understand them. So anyway, one makes an effort to abandon wrong view, because it takes an effort. What is the effort of abandoning right view? Read the suttas, meditate a little bit. When you start to understanding something about your mind, see the craziness in your own mind, and start to reflect on all the things that happen to you because of your wrong view, guilt, worry, remorse, and fear from having broken the precepts and things, then you will see the importance of abandoning the wrong view and cultivating the right view. So the effort. So one makes an effort for abandoning the wrong view and the effort for developing right view. So what is that effort? It's practicing mindfulness, which is the next one. So one is, and then that's one's right effort, the effort to abandon wrong view and the effort to cultivate right view. And then one is mindful, but you have to be mindful to abandon wrong view. And you have to be mindful to enter and remain in the right view. And sometimes I actually would change the order of this, and after after developing, having the right view, one is mindful. You have to be mindful of your wrong view coming into your mind. And say, that's wrong view, and then you mindfully make the effort to mindfully cultivate the right view. But anyway, the effort and the mindfulness and the effort are necessary for making the change. And that is one's right mindfulness, being mindful of what is wrong view and making the effort to abandon the wrong view, and mindfulness to know what is the right view. That mindfulness means to remember. To remember what you've learned is part of mindfulness. It's not just noticing things from moment to moment, but it's also remembering, what you have learned and then being able to apply it at the appropriate time when it's necessary. So these three qualities, right view, right effort, and right mindfulness, they run around and circle around the right view. And then the same three factors, right view, right effort, and right mindfulness, are applied to right intention, or this Samma Sankappa, the second step of the Eightfold Path. Is that right view understands wrong intention as wrong, and it understands right intention as right, or thought. Sometimes Samma Sankappa is translated as right thought, and sometimes it's translated as right intention or right resolve. So let's just use the term thought. So the right view understands what is wrong thought, and it understands what is right thought. And what is wrong thought? The thought of accumulating more sensual desires and craving for just pleasant and experiences, satisfying the senses. So thinking about sensuality, the various forms of sensuality, and the wrong intention is the intention to have ill will, to have resentment and ill will towards people and so on. And the intention or the thought of cruelty, like maybe you want to plot how to get revenge, to be cruel to some other person that you don't like. So there's an intention there, like the intention to go out and get revenge on somebody. Especially these wars and these things that are going on these days. You see, they have the intention to go out and protest, or to tell lies, or to do other things. So the wrong view understands what is the right thought, and then it makes the effort to abandon right thought and to be mindful and to abandon right thought, and then make the effort and be mindful and apply the effort to develop the right thought. So if you have a thought to go steal something, you make the effort not to keep thinking about that, but say, what can I give to somebody today? Instead of stealing, let me practice giving. And so you go out and you make the effort to give something rather than stealing something from somebody. Or instead of telling a lie, tell the truth, decide to tell the truth. And with so many other things, if you see the intention to smash a cockroach or, flush a spider down the drain, make the effort to practice metta and to save that poor creature from suffering. Like this morning, our cat Mita dragged a mouse into the kitchen. And unfortunately, the mouse, he had already killed it. But he was starting to eat the mouse right on our kitchen floor. I said, Mita, stop, Mita. Kind of shouted at Mita, and somebody went over there and kind of chased her away, or he got the mouse and took it outside. So, of course, the mouse is already dead. Maybe it wasn't totally, on other occasions they weren't totally dead, but we, chased anyway, that's just a simple example. But, to cultivate the effort to abandon those wrong type of thoughts and actions. And to do that, sometimes we have to do the opposite, that you have to actually cultivate the opposite thought. In order to drive out the negative thought, we have to create the opposite or positive thought about that. And again, with all of these right thoughts, there's two levels of them. There's the right thought, the mundane right thought, which is actually thoughts as I was just talking about. But then there's the right thought of the supramundane right thought, which again, only somebody who's reached a state of a sotapanna would have that, because that's the definition of the supramundane path, is somebody who has reached at least the level of a sotapanna, but even more so with the person who reaching the higher stages. So. And then that same condition, so those three things, right view, right effort, and right mindfulness, revolve around that. Then it's also applied to speech. So it's applied, right view understands wrong speech as wrong, and it understands right speech as right speech. And then you make the effort to abandon wrong speech and make the effort mindfully replace it with the right speech. And so this same process basically is going through all of the following, steps of the Eightfold Path. I'm not going to go through all of them, because you can, I want you to read it for yourself, because taking time to read it, you can see it more clearly, hopefully. So, right view, comes before all of the other, even though we say right view comes first in the enumeration of the Eightfold Path, but yet it comes first in actually practicing each step. That means, understanding the wrong aspect of the Eightfold Path, and then the right aspect, understanding that, and then the effort. And even with the right livelihood, one understands, the right view understands what is wrong livelihood, and it understands what is right livelihood. If you have a wrong livelihood, like if you're involved in some kind of a job that causes you to kind of have to tell lies, or cheat on different things, or doing something else, then you make an effort, if you can, to change that job, so that, especially if you have qualms about it, if you know it's not good, and it's eating on your mind, you make the effort to change it if all possible. It may not always be possible, but even if it meant taking a lesser salary for some other job, if it helps you to have peace of mind, that is going to be better than just wanting to accumulate more money, but then worrying about and having all the other problems associated with that. Because the more money you have, the more you want to enjoy, and then you get more sensual desires and attachments. So there's some benefit in not being sort of rich too. But anyway. And then even in the right mindfulness, one understands wrong mindfulness is wrong and right mindfulness is right. And even concentration, you understand what is wrong concentration and what is right concentration. You make the effort to abandon wrong concentration, or at least cultivate right concentration. And what is right concentration? It's a concentration that is supported by all those previous 7 factors. That's because you can't gain really concentration, deep concentration, unless you've overcome the hindrances, the doubts and the hindrances of, incessant thinking and sensual desire and ill will and sleepiness and so on. So it takes a lot of effort to overcome those hindrances. And most of them are caused by following the wrong view, the wrong thoughts, the wrong speech, the wrong action, the wrong livelihood. Almost all the hindrances are connected with following the wrong aspects of those Eightfold Path. And therefore, one's concentration is going to be wrong because it will become a kind of a false kind of concentration, at least according to the Buddha's definition of right concentration. So now this is where the Great 40 comes in, and it's a little bit kind of confusing to understand that. But there's 20 factors on the side of skillfulness and 20 factors on the side of unskillfulness. Anyway, I think we'll cover that next week, that last part, because it requires some more study and understanding of it. So I think we will stop this discussion now. And if there are any questions, I don't see any questions in the chat box. Oh, but I do see a yellow hand up there. Damon, I see a yellow hand up there. So do you have a question? Can you?
Yeah. Which part of the right view is going to have, tell us about the illusion of self? Did you mention that?
I didn't mention it directly, but I hope you could all hear that question. What part of wrong view talks about the illusion of the self? Well, part of right view is understanding anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So apart from just those things I might have mentioned, it means having at least an intellectual understanding of the Dhamma teachings. And anicca, dukkha, and anatta, especially the impermanence and no self, that's a very cornerstone teaching of the Buddha. And one of the no self is really the deepest aspect or the deepest source of delusion and the cause of greed and hatred, and then all of the negative actions one would create. So, it's not implicitly mentioned just in the sutta there, but it's part of the supramundane. That's why it's part of the supramundane right view. And that's why just a mundane understanding is not enough to really eradicate the defilements, that you have to reach that level through the practice of mundane mindfulness, mundane concentration. At some point, and by practicing the mundane aspects of the Eightfold Path, at some point you'll be able to then have that experience of the anicca, of anatta in meditation, and then you will have that supramundane right view. The doubts will be overcome about it. The belief in itself will be overcome about it. And those are the main criterion in remaining in ignorance. So,
Great. Thank you.
okay.
Bhante, I have a question. May I ask?
Yes, go ahead, Shobha.
Isn't right view the same thing as right understanding?
Yes. The question was, is right view the same as right understanding? Yes. These are, the translations of the Pali words. That's the thing in Dhamma. There's so many different people who have translated sutras, and they have they take the freedom of using the words that they believe are going to give the most appropriate meaning according to their understanding. So some people say, oh, we shouldn't call it right view, there's right and wrong, it's too Catholic or something like that, so they want to call it a harmonious view, or they want to call it a wholesome view. All of them are correct, but that's what causes some understanding. So right understanding is, what right view and right understanding are the two most common ways that it's called, the sammaditthi is the word, the Pali word, sammaditthi. Ditthi means a view. Usually it means a wrong view, but also sammaditthi means having the right view or the right understanding. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it depends on what you want to, as long as you understand the meaning of it, it doesn't matter so much what the word is. You have to understand the meaning behind the word.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't just understand it just by the word itself. It takes a lot of study and seeing how all the different things kind of fit together. And gradually this right view comes into focus once you have a better, understanding of the teaching. That's why you need to read suttas, and you also need to read practice the meditation in order to then get to the supramundane or the real right view.
Yeah. Thanks, Bhante.
Any other questions?
There's a question in the chat, Bhante.
There's a chat box question. Okay, let me see if I can get into the chat box.
It's a long one.
Oh my gosh. Well, he just basically is saying what he just read, in the sutta. So I'm not going to read it all. You can read it yourself. He's just basically, or she, whoever it was, who is it? Frank. Okay. But his question at the end is, is this the wrong view? Should the answer be silent and best left alone? Or does one see it from the outside world, understand it as meaningless? Well, again, the mundane right view, you have to understand what is wrong. Well, some people say it's not wrong to kill animals. Look, so many people have that belief, right? It's not wrong to kill animals. It's not wrong to, kill people if they're, you're defending your life. But these are mundane right views, and they're gonna, cause you actions, cause you to do certain things. You can steal from the rich. It's okay, steal from the rich. People justify their actions based on what they believe. Now, there could be some truth in those things, and there could not be. But the fact is, if you do those things, somebody's going to come looking for you. Whether you believe it's right or wrong, somebody's going to come looking for you. If you think it's okay to steal from the rich and give to the poor, the police, that rich person will call the police, and say, go catch, or all these things is very complex, in society. But anyway, the point is, we're trying to eliminate suffering. Again, this is all about eliminating suffering. If you don't care about it, then forget about it. Forget all this stuff. If you don't care about eliminating suffering, forget about all these suttas and everything else. Forget about right view. This is for people that want to understand suffering and are fed up with their own mind that keeps on repeating the same old negative thoughts and actions and things that keep their mind in a very limited condition. And, that lead also to problem. People are going to hate you, not like you, blame you for doing so many things. You get hounded and so on. All because of the actions and the way that you believe or justify yourself. So, the Buddhist teaching, again, it's important that his whole point was about suffering and the cause of suffering and overcoming it. If you're not interested in that, go to some other religion. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Anyway, that's the main thing, because people are not gonna, they'll argue until they're blue in the face, about so many things, and we're not here to argue about these things with people. The Buddha taught these teachings for those who think there's some truth in that and want to practice. It's there. If you don't, well, then we see that Buddhism is one of the least followed religions in the world, right? There's more believers in some of the other major religions than Buddhists. So, okay, friends, I think we will bring this discussion to an end now. So we still want to have our little yoga practice and then our meditation. Perhaps we'll get some right view in our meditation practice. Okay? Okay, we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, so stand straight. Relax your arms at the sides. Gently close your eyes, feel your feet pressing the floor. Try to feel the outline of the standing body. Then begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Holding the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. And slowly breathing out. You feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. And then the next in-breath. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine this breathing with these movement exercises. You do the movement to the position on the in-breath, holding it for 2 or 3 seconds and returning to the starting point on the out-breath, repeating each one 3 times. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back, stretch upward. On the out-breath, turn the palms down, touch the top of your head. Next in-breath, palms up, straighten the arms. Stretch the head back, bend back a little bit. Out breath, touch the top of your head. On the third time, hold the upward stretch longer. Bend back a little more. Feel the arch in the spine, feel the sensation. Now release your fingers, and on the out breath, arms back to the side. Just gently close your eyes. You feel the outline of the body. Can't feel that. Feel the clothing touching your skin. Feel the increased sensations in your hands and fingers. The increased pulsations, tingling sensations. And just remember the present moment of standing, letting go of your thoughts. Let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the standing body in the front of the awareness. And with the next in-breath, lift up on the toes while raising the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other, and stretch up. The out-breath, come back down, arms to the side, heels to the floor. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more in. Out. Relax. Just keep feeling the body with the increased body sensations, clothing touching the skin, sensations under the skin, pulsations, prickly sensations, aches or pain. Just remember standing. Don't give your mind time to get lost in other thoughts. Just thinking, observing, feeling, the standing body. Next we'll do is side bending. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. Keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over your right side as far as you comfortably can. Keep your hands and arms parallel to each other like a railroad track. In-breath, lift up. And then the other side, out-breath. In-breath. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side, out-breath. The out-breath, lower the arms. Close the eyes, feel the outline of the body, the head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor, all those different places, sensations with the outline of the standing body. Remember standing here and now, the body, present moment, body-centered awareness. Next we'll do knee bending. On an in-breath, lift up on the toes, raise the arms up front for balance. On the out-breath, bend the knees, lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet, down into squatting position if you can. In breath, with the muscles in the legs, pushing the body up on the toes. Out breath. In. Out. In. Out breath. Relax. Feel the increased heart beating. Feel the pulsation. Clothing touching the skin. The aches or pain. Present moment. Body centered awareness. Get out of your head into the body. Standing. Standing. Okay, now spread the feet apart about 3 feet. Do the twisting from right to left, holding the arms out at the sides. Breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, come back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body and you go to the other side. Out breath. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides like that with the breathing. Out breath. In. Out. Once more to each side. Lower the arms. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Hands touching the upper legs. Clothing touching the skin. Feel the head balanced on top, the eyes in the socket. More sensations you can notice, less time for your mind to get lost. Thoughts of the past or future, other worry. Standing. standing. Now we'll do forward and backward bending. Be careful with the back bends. Don't bend back too far the first time. Let the hands touch the front of your legs. Breathe in. On the out breath, bend forward. Let your hands come to your kneecaps. Keep your arms and legs straight. Keep the head lifted up. Flatten the spine like a tabletop. In breath, lift up. Move the hands under the buttocks for support. Let the head go back. Gently bend back on the out breath. Look at the ceiling. In breath, lift up. You are really shaking. Next out breath, let the hands come down below your knees. So keep the head lifted up, legs straight. Feel the extra stretch in the back of your legs. In breath up. Again, the back bend, be careful. Out breath. In. On the third time, let your hands come down as far as you can towards your ankles or the feet, and then hold on as far down as you can reach. The extra stretch in the leg muscles, and the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. In an in-breath, lift up. Once more, back bend, be careful. Out breath. In breath. On the out breath, just relax your shoulders and arms, the sides, close the eyes. Feel some subtle internal body shaking. Feel each foot pressing the floor, hands touching the leg, clothing touching the skin. Feel the head on top, feel the eyes in the sockets, and the skin stretched over your face. Feel the subtle life force vibration. Remember standing. Here and now, with the body. You can now bring your legs and feet closer together. Just one last exercise. Head turning from right to left. The in-breath, head to the right. You have a stiff neck, just be careful. Look over your right shoulder. Out breath all the way back to the left, to look over the left shoulder. In breath right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagine feeling them loosening up. Out breath left. In right. Out. Once more to each side. The in-breath, let the head stop in the center. Close the eyes, feel the outline of the standing body. Feel that activated life force. In the millions of billions of cells vibrating, interacting, allowing the awareness to rest in the present moment, in the body. This body is the natural resting place for our mind whenever it's not doing something specific. Standing, standing, standing. Okay, so let's mindfully come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting meditation. So just try to get comfortable in the sitting posture, keeping the back of the head and the spine in a straight line. Just keep your chin lifted up, level with the floor. Feel the natural inward curve of the lower spine, the lumbar spine. Be a slight inward curve to it, its natural position. Help keep the back straight. Just gently close your eyes. Just feel your eyes in the socket. Feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Just relax your face muscle. We're going to move our attention down the body, just feeling the sitting posture. Just moving the attention down to feel your shoulders, relax the shoulders. Going to keep the shoulders slightly pulled back. Feel the clothing touching the skin of the shoulders. Feel the weight of the arms hanging from the shoulders. Feel the clothing rubbing against the skin of the chest and stomach. Take a deep, slow breath. Feel the clothing rubbing against the skin of the chest and stomach. Keeping the mind centered on the body, letting go of your thoughts. You'll feel your hands and fingers where they touch together, where they touch your legs. Try to feel the subtle pulse of blood or tingling sensations in your hands or fingers. Just remember the present moment of sitting. You'll feel the way feel that inward curve of the lower spine again. Just understand that inward curve of the lower spine helps to keep the back erect, to resist the downward pull of gravity. You'll feel the way your knees are bent, the legs tucked under the body. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Feel the buttocks pressing the floor. Imagine that 100 or more pounds of body just pressing the floor. You remember sitting, sitting. Now let the awareness kind of come back up through the body and rest behind your eyes. Just feel the eyes and the sockets. Feel the eyelids stretched over the eyeball. From that point on the eyes, sort of feel the silhouette of the sitting posture. That sense of the head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, buttocks pressing the seat, feet touching the floor. Just all of those different body parts, places, make up the outline of the sitting body. Then begin taking some deep, slow breaths again to feel the more dynamic, expanding and contracting sensations of the abdomen, rib cage, and chest. Hold the air in the lungs 2 or 3 seconds. Feel or imagine the oxygen in the lungs getting out into the bloodstream, blood carrying that oxygen out to all the cells of the body. Try to feel the last bit of air go out on the out breath. Try to take several more deep, slow breaths like that, concentrating the mind and the body. Just breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10, try to develop a more continuous, mindful concentration on the breathing. Try to continue to take some slightly deeper breaths to help feel it more clearly. Just focusing on the expanding and contracting sensation. So with the next in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath in for 1 or 2 seconds. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lung. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3, in 4, out 4, in 5, out 5, in 6, out 6, in 7, out 7, in 8, out 8, in 9, out 9, in 10, out 10. Now discontinue the counting. Let your breathing return to its uncontrolled or shorter, irregular rhythm. You continue to observe it, to feel it. Just keep your attention focused in the center of the body. Continue to feel the residual expanding and contracting sensation. Especially try to feel the clothing rubbing against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest. It expands and contracts, producing friction, sensation. Just make that the main focus of your mindful concentration. Just knowing when the breath is coming in, and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling the sensation. To tune in to the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in breath and the brief pause. the contracting out breath and the brief pause. Just be like a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment. Just observe this experiment of breathing. 4 phases of each breath, different little sensations of the breathing. You can make these brief mental reminders to be clear of the present moment. In sitting, out, sitting, just over and over and over again. In sitting, out, sitting. The ongoing, continuous, present moment of the body, breath by breath, moment by moment. In sitting, out, sitting. Those brief pauses between the breaths, check your posture. Keep the chin lifted up level with the floor. Keep the inward curve of the lower spine in its natural position. Relax any tension in the body. In sitting, out, sitting. If you still have lots of thoughts, you can try counting your breaths from 1 to 10 by yourself. See if you can make it to 10 without getting lost. You get lost while the counting, then start again the counting at 1. It's the right effort to develop concentration, the breathing. Stay alert, breath by breath, moment by moment. Letting go of your thought. Either counting the breaths or just remembering in, sitting, out, sitting. Just keep turning up the power of the mental microscope. Notice more detailed sensation in the breathing. Just noticing how each breath is different, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes it's an easy breath, sometimes a difficult breath. Sometimes you feel it more in the abdomen, sometimes you feel it in the rib cage or chest. It's always changing. Noticing those changes in the breath, keep your mind focused, concentrated. From time to time, take a few more deep, slow breaths. Help stay awake, centered in the body. The mind is calm enough, centered enough, just readily opening up to the flow of impermanence. This breathing is occurring within the larger sitting body. As the breath goes in and out, other sensations are coming and going. Itchy feelings, unpleasant feelings, aches or pain. Thoughts are coming and going in the back of the mind. They're trying to sneak in and steal your attention away. Keep turning up the power of the mental microscope to notice subtler detail, sensation, arising and vanishing, coming and going. Noticing some urges or thoughts in the back of the mind. Just cultivate the right view of impermanence. This body and mind is in a constant state of change. Everything, breath is changing, sounds are changing, other body sensations constantly changing, thoughts are changing. You know what is right view as opposed to wrong view, or right thought as opposed to wrong thought. You notice wrong thoughts, make the effort to mindfully cultivate the right thought. In sitting, out, sitting. So many sensations come and go, sounds come and go, pleasure and pain come and go, thoughts, ideas come and go, thoughts of I, me, and mine coming and going. These are all just a continuous flow of change of the body-mind phenomenon to the present moment awareness. It's going on under its own power, past karma, without an owner or controller. It's two streams of the body, the mind. That is part of the right view, the right understanding of the body and mind. Now it's in a continually changing process, powered mostly by the power of conditioning, karmic conditioning, negative thoughts bringing suffering and action, positive thoughts bringing less problems and pain. What thoughts arise based on that sound vibration? Dukkha patacani dukkha bhaya patacani bhaya soka patacani soka Hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. At the end of the chanting of the sadhu, just feel those vibrations in your body and mind. Just take a deep breath. Sadhu. Now mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. On the in-breath, stretch your head back, pull your hands on your knees, you arch your spine backwards. Breathe in, lift the head up, and on an out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the head up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. So I hope you're able to have at least some moments or minutes of some peaceful awareness, maybe some insights into the nature of right view or wrong view. wrong concentration, right concentration. Okay, so for next week, those who may join next week, try to read that the attachment that I sent out before. Hopefully you still have it. Try to read the last section on understanding what is the meaning of the Great 40. We'll discuss that next week. Okay? So until then, be mindful, be well, be wise. Do your M&Ms during the day, minute meditation. Come back to the present moment every hour for 1 minute. Reground in the present moment. Okay, so till next week, Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.